So you play a game that has fantastic graphics, but a terrible story and terrible gameplay. And even though you were initially interested in trying out this game, after finding out how the rest of the game doesn't really stay on par with its graphics, you feel a bit disappointed and you don't know why exactly, but you don't feel like playing this game anymore. You feel like the impression the game created in the beginning is somehow betrayed and somehow the game feels out of balance. I have felt this many times as a player, and I've seen it from the developer side happening over and over again. And today I want to talk about these two aspects. Why this happens on the developer side, and more importantly, what we can do to deliver a good experience on the player side without sacrificing developer time or lots of time and money in additional assets. So let's talk about the developer side first. When we make a game, of course we want to make it as good as possible. But we don't always choose who is in the team, how large the team is, what exact skills they have, and so on. So we always have to end up working with what we have instead of what's ideal. So in this case, we might have a fantastic graphics department. Maybe they can make very beautiful 2D graphics or 3D graphics, but perhaps the rest of the team is just not on the same level. Not because they're evil people, it's just how the dice fell. One department might be way better than the others. So what happens is soon everybody realizes that, well, our game doesn't have great gameplay and it doesn't have great sound, but you know what? The graphics are great. So it's worth to put the extra effort in that to make it as beautiful as possible. And perhaps people will notice it and will play it for the graphics and will sort of ignore the other shortcomings of the game, and hopefully everybody will love it regardless. That's what we often think on the developer side, that we did our best, we tried our hardest, so hopefully people will notice it. Unfortunately, on the player side, we see a game that has very good graphics and we get our hopes up. And of course, I'm talking about graphics here, but it could be any other area, right? Perhaps the gameplay is really good, but everything else isn't. Or it has amazing sound and the rest of the game is not so great. So anyway, we see this aspect first, and we create this expectation that, well, if the graphics or the sound are so good, surely the rest of the game must be on the same level, right? And when we find out it's not, we get disappointed. So what can we do about this? Well, from my experience, when you're developing a game like that, it's actually easier to bring all the aspects of the game on the same level. So again, we could dissect this very granularly, but instead, let's stay simple for now, and let's just focus on graphics, sound, and gameplay. So instead of having one area far exceed the others in performance and quality and so on, I find that it's actually better for the final experience to have sort of all three areas be somehow in balance. What does this actually look like in practice? Well, if the graphics are extremely high quality, then there is a sort of unspoken expectation to have very high quality gameplay, very high quality story, and amazing quality sound, right? And if you're showing this fantastic dragon who looks great and he's boring to fight and he doesn't make cool dragon noises and the battle music for that dragon is just unimpressive or generic, that actually reduces from the joy of the experience of fighting the dragon. All the work the graphics did to make the fight more impressive is being very much countered by the lack of quality on the other areas. So what would be a better way to frame this? Well, what if instead the area that's ahead of the others didn't try as hard and didn't try to outdo everything else, and instead tried to be on par with everything else? So here you're thinking, well, okay, great. So we have bad graphics on purpose just because the other areas are not as great. So how is that going to help? This is the tricky part. This is the sublime point of the development aspect that we miss when we're making games. If a game is balanced on all three aspects, graphics, gameplay, and sound, it feels coherent. It feels purposeful, and it feels like it was put together to deliver exactly that experience. So for example, imagine a game that has very simple cartoony graphics, equally light-hearted sound, simple music, very carefree and so on. And the gameplay is not super complicated. It doesn't have thousands of abilities that combine to create sub-abilities and so on. No, it simply has a few tools that the player can use to clear the game. So nothing amazing. And you think, well, but that's a very simple game. It's not pushing as far as it could. Precisely. It's very simple, and it's simple all around. It's well-rounded in this aspect, and whoever saw the graphics and thought that this would be a fun experience has their expectation met by the other areas of the game. So this is again oversimplifying it, but simple graphics with simple sound and simple gameplay satisfy the expectation someone got when they first saw the game. If the other areas were extremely sophisticated or extremely underdeveloped, that would create this imbalance that I find creates this strange experience when you play. On the other hand, if you have medium quality graphics and medium quality gameplay and sound, that also creates a well-rounded experience. Sometimes people might call it AA or something similar, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that experience. There's nothing wrong with not having hyper-realistic graphics in every single game, because that is what that game wants to deliver, that sort of experience. And of course, if you want to go for maximum quality on everything, that's fine, but it's just a lot of work. But if you manage to nail it, then of course you knock it out of the park, because it's going to be one of the most notable games out there that everybody will want to play, and everybody will have good words to say about that. I thought that the graphics were, I thought the game was just there for its graphics, but when I played it, the gameplay was great, the sound was great, the story was great. This is the best game ever. I'm going to recommend it to everyone. So you get that holy grail of experience. But that doesn't mean that the medium and lower quality games will lack in recommendations as well. A simple game all around might get the recommendation of a cool, light-hearted game. You can finish it easily. It doesn't stress you too much. It's cute. It's got funny sounds. I would definitely recommend it to someone to play for an evening or two. It's a great experience. And once the game communicates clearly what it is and what it isn't, it can absolutely find its audience, because the way it looks and the way it sounds and the way it plays is its calling card. And when everything is aligned, then whoever plays it has their expectation met for what they thought the game is going to be like and what it's actually like. So hopefully this way you can save yourself a few sleepless nights and perhaps a few months or years of overcommitting in one aspect of a game while the others are not quite on the same level, and strangely achieving a better result overall in the end. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have fun.